All right, all right, all right. Welcome back to another episode, the newly titled episode of the Pizza Pastime Show with Jacob Moreno. I talked with Chris about it just about a week ago, just to see like what his thoughts were, and we were able to kind of come up with this title of the podcast. I actually like this a lot more than the other one. Just because, I mean, it sounds a little bit easier. Pizza time, pastime was a little too repetitive. So I think going with a new pizza pastime show gives a little bit of a better ring with it. So this is the weekly podcast that I come on and do to just pretty much talk about whatever's on my mind and get just like a little bit of content out there for the off season. Obviously, with the playoffs still going on, I still want to talk playoff basketball. I still want to talk basketball, but I'm also trying to add more things like this weekly music review to just add a little bit of stuff that other little hobbies that I like to do. Basketball isn't just the only thing that's on my mind. This week there's been a lot of playoff basketball to talk about. Obviously, a lot of the stuff happened at the very beginning of the week, and we're finally getting a couple games towards the end. So I think we can go ahead and get right into to talking about how that stuff's going. And honestly, my thoughts haven't really changed on anything from the last week's old show, right? The one episode show that I had before making the whole rebrand, the whole reboot kind of thing. But there wasn't too much from the NBA playoffs that I've really changed up on. Let me check the records real quick, right? So the Celtics are losing 2-1 to the Bucks right now. Phoenix just lost Game 4 against the Mavericks to make the series tied 2-2. I just watched that game. We'll get into that in just a second. But and then also Golden State's leading Memphis 2-1. And Miami is about to play Game 4, but are currently leading 2-1 against the Sixers. So, my grandpa out here saying, "Go Dallas." Well, I don't know if I'm completely gonna be on Dallas' side. I don't think I'll ever really root for Dallas, but it was I'll go ahead and get right into talking about that. The Mavs, man, the Mavs were killer in this last game. They were making Chris Paul look like a chump out there. And I don't know if that was like completely Dallas's thing. I don't know if that was completely Chris Paul. But man, it was crazy to see Dallas kind of just locked down, man. They locked in and you had a crazy night from Dorian Finney-Smith. Luka was still doing his thing, even with a little bit of foul trouble too at the beginning of the game. And so you really got a lot showing from a bunch of those guys in what they did. And Dallas, man, I give them a lot of credit for making the series 2-2 right now, because I don't think anybody was really expecting them to put up too much fight against Phoenix. But we'll see. Chris Paul definitely needs to pick it up if they're going to try to take this series, because right now with the way that he's playing, it's okay, it's fine, but it's not enough. So it's a thing for Phoenix that they got to look into, man. They have to see what they can do. Also, I think Mikal Bridges, I know I heard Richard Jefferson talk about it. Mikal Bridges kind of has like the target to guard Luka, so you kind of give him slack on the offensive end. But man, when he's in a slouch too, it's not going to help anything. It's not going to help anything at all for Phoenix. So they got to change up their game plan, man. They have got to make some adjustments, because right now the Mavericks have their number. But it was interesting. It was very interesting to see the game. And again, like I said, shout out to Dorian Finney-Smith, because he killed it. He killed it for them this last game. So it was definitely something to see for those guys. I'm gonna try to adjust this to see what's up, if I can. Let's see. I think that looks maybe just a little bit smoother, just because having that little thing in the way was kind of hindering. I don't know. It just looked a little odd. Maybe this will look a little bit better to the camera, instead of having that whole little holder thingy in the way. But Yeah, I mean it's definitely interesting to see a team like Dallas be up like that, and I'm very excited to see what the rest of the series is going to hold for them. Just because, man, if they make that upset, that'll be interesting. I had Phoenix going all the way pretty much. I think Phoenix was the team for me that I thought was going to be able to make that run this year. And maybe like Golden State would have been the other team behind it, but I wouldn't have thought like a team like Dallas was going to kind of give them a run for their money like they have been. So it's very interesting to see what's going to happen between those guys. Um, Go on to the other games. I haven't really been able to keep up with the Heat Sixers. Contrary to popular belief, I do watch Miami Heat games, but I'm not a Heat fan, so I don't pay attention all the time to Miami. I haven't really stuck around to see like what Miami's been doing against Philly. I saw the first two games and I thought it was going to be like clean sweep, but then Joel Embiid came back. So with Joel Embiid coming back, I think that just kind of put a little bit of a hindrance in Miami's game plan, and I think that's probably why they were able to take their game. I'm gonna be interested to see what Miami does to bounce back, because I genuinely think this series should be kind of finishing up to 5. With an injured Joel Embiid, even if he is back, he was able to take that surprise game. I still see Miami still being able to kind of take control and not lose too much against Philly. But it was interesting. It was interesting to hear. I think I was what was I watching? I think I was watching Doctor Strange with my family whenever they had said that Joel Embiid wasn't gonna play. And so then I was full on expecting, like, oh, all right, cool. We're getting our Miami Heat winning at 4 instead of Miami in 5 or in 6 or whatever. But then Joel makes his last minute entrance. I don't remember what I was doing during that game, but I definitely was out and about, not being able to watch that game fully. So that's why I wasn't able to just see like what Joel Embiid did for Philly to be able to take the game against them. But I'm interested. I'll be able to watch that game here in a little bit whenever it comes on. Which I should have started this podcast off with this. I guess it kind of dates it a little bit, but happy Mother's Day. Shout out to my mom. She's one of the greatest, one of the GOATs. She does a lot for me. She's the reason why I'm able to kind of come on here and do this stuff for a weekly basis and be able to try to make this my career. So shout out to my mom. Shout out to my grandmas, because I wouldn't be here, my family wouldn't be here if it weren't for them being able to kind of take those steps to take care of my parents whenever they were growing up, to teach them the lessons that my parents teach me. Just a little side tangent on that, just because it is Mother's Day, and I'm gonna be going. I'm here in a little bit. I'm gonna be going to hang out with her for the night, and just try to make sure to spend some time, count my blessings with her. Since I know that she's here, she loves me, and that we're able to kind of spend this time together. But to get back into the playoff basketball, the other games. The Celtics Bucks series has been super duper entertaining for me, man. I have not wanted to take my eyes off of this stuff at all. I've been wanting to watch as much of that series as I can, because I know that is the most entertaining series for me. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy to see the kind of stuff that's been going on between those two teams, because the minute you think one team has the upper hand, the other team is able to kind of come back. But then there's also those times, especially like the game that the Celtics were able to take against Milwaukee. It was definitely a thing where you saw how the Celtics had control of the game. Yeah, you saw how the Celtics just had control of that game no matter what. And honestly, the same thing in Game 1. Game 1 too, Milwaukee had control of the game. They weren't really letting Boston take anything from them. But mainly it's just because Boston was shooting so bad. And so the next game, Boston's able to shoot better. Jaylen Brown's going crazy and in the first half, and then you get Jason Tatum kind of picking it up in the second half. It's kind of hard to like remember everything, just because it was nearly a week ago by now. So it was kind of hard to remember all that kind of stuff. But either way, man, it was cool. And then to hear Giannis 42 points, if I'm not mistaken, 42. like doing Giannis things, going crazy. I know there was like that missed call at the end of the game, which was unfortunate for Boston, but it's a give and take. It's a playoff series. You got to be ready. You can't dwell on this one game and this one play to affect you for the rest of the series. So if I'm Boston, you still come in with the same mentality. You're still doing the same stuff that you were able to do, because you almost took that game against Milwaukee in game 3. So it's exciting. It's exciting, man. This series is going to be a lot of fun, and I'm very invested, very interested to see who's going to be the victor of that series. Because honestly, with the way that I'm seeing these other games, it's like, man, if whoever wins between these two, I might be telling you that they're my title favorites. They're the teams that I'm thinking are gonna win it all. So who knows? Who knows? Just because they're both playing at elite levels, man. They're having their little slip ups here and there, and obviously with injury to particularly to Chris Middleton, and then on the Celtics end, Marcus Smart kind of being a little beat up, kind of going into games 2 and 3. You have like a little bit of stuff like that that's kind of got you a little questionable about how well they'll be able to hold up against the other teams going into like the Western in the Eastern Conference Finals and finally the finals. But when they're on it, man, when those teams are on it, there's very little that I can see of like a Golden State or a Phoenix being able to stop it. Like I honestly look at the personnel that Golden State has, look at the personnel that Phoenix has, and I mean, Golden State has some size every now and then in their like 3-4 position, not necessarily in their 5 position, but in that 3-4 position that can kind of disrupt a guy like Jason Tatum or kind of disrupt a guy like Giannis. But I don't know. Like that's like I kind of want to. I need to go look at like those matchups earlier in the regular season to see how much those mattered or anything like that. See if Giannis went off. See if Jason Tatum went off. Because if not, we'll see. It's definitely a thing that I'm interested to see. Like if whoever wins between Boston and Milwaukee, if they make it to the finals, then what's that matchup going to be looking like? And then with Phoenix doesn't have as much size in 3-4, but they got guys like DeAndre and JaVale McGee. Sorry, little mishap with them. A guy like JaVale McGee, who that's size at the 5 right there. That's what you need. You need guys to be able to protect the paint, especially against a guy like Giannis. And then for the Celtics, with Al Horford and Robert Williams, mainly Robert Williams with that vertical lob threat, and then Al Horford just being a little bit of a finesse big. It's tough, So I'm interested to see what those teams would do, and I'm excited to see where this playoffs are going to hold off to, because I'm not too sure, man. Not too sure at all. And I guess I won't count out Memphis. Memphis is going to be trying to put up a fight. It's unlikely that Ja Morant's in game 4 because he got a little injured, but we'll see. I'm not necessarily too high on a team like Memphis being able to make like a finals run and see what they could do with the finals. I think if they somehow make it to the finals, that they're just going to get a little washed by whoever's on the East, whether that's Miami, Milwaukee, Boston, and I mean, I guess Philly, but any of those 3 teams plus Philly as like that asterisk, because I don't see them making it at all either, would probably wash a team like Memphis in the finals, in my opinion. That's just, I don't know. I don't see Memphis being able to do too much. And I guess real quick, just because my grandpa also said this, the Mavericks need the whole team to get on, not just one player. That's exactly how they won today, man. Luka was doing his thing, but they also had a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith be able to step up, make some very clutch, very in a sense wide open threes, right? Because that's kind of looks like he was able to get, but. Like a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith, man, you don't see that guy doing anything on the offensive end. He's there for pure defense and to run through the system, and he was knocking down 3 after 3 this game. So it was definitely a thing where you're getting your role players doing their thing, and you have to be happy about that. Davis also knocking down like I think his first 4 threes. So that I love Davis. Nothing but love for a guy like Davis, because he used to be a San Antonio Spur, and I mean. He was killer with us for the short time that he was, and then he kind of he got paid, he got his money, went to Washington, if I'm not mistaken. And then it was just like a thing where kind of nobody really talked about him for a couple years. Then he gets traded to Dallas, and now he's back in a solid little system with open threes, knocking them down, doing his thing. So it's nice to see for a guy like Davis. It's nice. I'm excited to see what any of these teams are going to be doing in the playoffs. Man, there's no telling what can happen nowadays. And to kind of finish up my Golden State talk, um, there's you know it sucks to see a guy like John Moran get hurt. Personally, whenever I watch those videos, it doesn't look like Jordan Poole was being too malicious. It doesn't look like he was being too intentional on that injury. So I'm not on that Memphis side to say that he was breaking the code as been the talk for the playoffs this year, because that's what Steve Kerr said. And it was just unfortunate to see. And unfortunate to see a guy like John Moran go out for another game, especially when he's you're a big part. But at the same time, not going to count Memphis out too much, because they had a really good record without Ja. So we'll see what kind of push they bring, because those role players in Memphis are not sorry, man. They are good. They are good out there. So they definitely can still give a team like Golden State a run for their money if Golden State isn't too careful. But that's pretty much it for the playoffs this week, man. It's been fun. It's been real fun to see what those guys have been, what every team's been doing, what adjustments are going to be happening. I'm very excited to see how things are going to go. If you want, like my playoff predictions, they still haven't changed. I pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, I was talking to my brothers about it this last week. I forgot what way that I was saying it was going to be, like what specific games, I guess, but I still have the Celtics beating the Bucks, even though they're 2-1. I still have the Celtics beating the Bucks. Giannis is still. I mean, this one's the most controversial, right? Because it can go either way, and I'm not telling you that I'm like confidently telling you that the Celtics are going to beat the Bucks in 6 games, 7 games, or whatever. But I think the Celtics do have the blueprint to be able to beat the Bucks in that sense. That game 2 was very convincing. That game 2 was very, very convincing. And then game 3 was super close. Could have gone either way. So it's still not telling about whether or not one team has control over the other in this series between them, man. And that's the most exciting part about it, is that those guys are kind of going out there doing their thing every night, putting their bodies on the line to be able to try to get this series, because this is a tough one, man. It's a tough one. So I'll still stick out saying that the Celtics are going to win the series overall. I'm not going to give you like a full games, like 6 games, 7 games, or whatever, because I don't know. As for the other series, I still think Miami is going to win. I don't really see Philly being able to do anything. I feel like Joel Embiid's going to start getting a little bit more hurt, a little bit more injured. Like, he was probably just a little fresh in that sense, even though he's coming off an injury. He's probably a little fresh with the little bit of rest that he got. So I think he might get a little worn down throughout these next couple games, and Miami's going to be able to take that. Interesting to see that they won 79 or 99-79, because that's a low score in today's game, but not too far off of like obviously the Bucks and Celtics were 101, 103, Suns Mavericks 101, 111, so that's not too far off, but just a little bit lower in today's game, especially the 79 from Miami. That's the thing that kind of gets me. With the Golden State series, with Ja Morant being out, like I said, it doesn't necessarily change too much, because Memphis's team is still good without him. But it's a thing that I am like, it might be just a little bit easier for a team like Golden State to be able to take care of Memphis without Ja Morant, because Ja Morant was playing pretty good in the series so far. So with him being out, we might be seeing a little bit more Golden State beat up on Grizzlies than you might have expected. And then now with the last one, the Suns Mavericks, man, it's interesting. It's interesting because like I said before, man, people pretty much had the Suns being able to kind of take control, take care of this series, and now they're not. Now it's a whole nother ball game. So we'll see what's up with those guys. We'll see if they have what it takes to try to make that upset or not. I still think that Phoenix will be able to make their adjustments. They'll be able to make those adjustments and be able to change it up. But there's the playoff talk for the week, man. There's only those things, and we'll see what's up next week. We'll be having our whole. If I'm not mistaken, let me see if I can find this. Next Sunday would technically be Game Sevens if Game Sevens happen. So who knows? I might be coming at you with Game Sevens, or I might be coming at you talking about the next playoff series, the conference finals. So we'll be seeing that. But the other half of this podcast is dedicated to music. Window real quick so that I can show you real quick before I do get onto that. Chris wants to say that Phoenix doesn't have to win on the road, but Dallas. That is true. So Phoenix can still I would still say the favors in Phoenix's odds, or the odds are still in Phoenix's favor. Sorry, I said that in the wrong way. Yeah, like it's still, I'm still leaning towards Phoenix. I don't think there's much that'll really change too much on that matter. But this is the music part of the stream now. So this last week, this last couple weeks, the album's been out for a month. I've been listening to Denzel Curry's "Melt My Eyes, See Your Future" album, and if I'm not mistaken, this is his fifth on his track list or whatever. His fifth album that he's put out, and man, Denzel did not disappoint with this album. I'm not a huge to preference. I'm not a huge Denzel fan. He's not a person that I particularly listen to too much. I had one maybe two songs that I had heard before that made me like his kind of music, but I wasn't like necessarily too invested in his artwork too much. But I heard this album came out, knew this was a good chance to be able to get into a guy like him, and so I decided to take a good listen to it, and try to get my feel for it, try to see if it was something that I like. And man, like I said, Denzel did not disappoint. This album right here, only 14 songs, 45 minutes. It is pretty much a very solid album through and throughout. There is not much, if any, of this album that I will tell you is skippable. I think almost all of the stuff, including like some of these the more shorter songs, as you can see, there's a couple of them. This one a minute 20 song, only 2 minutes right here. For The Smell of Death being a minute 20, Sandro being 2 minutes, and then also having like Worst Comes to Worst, John Wayne's a pretty short song. Those songs necessarily maybe you might want to be skipping some of them just because they're a little bit shorter. You're not really trying to get into like a whole minute or just like a song that's only a minute long. But in this whole listen through, man, there's nothing that's made me like feel like any of this stuff's like skippable or anything like that. Like I said, I guess in a sense that you're listening to music, just shuffling through it, and you're just listening to a single song, you might skip a song like John Wayne, you might skip a song like The Smell of Death because it's pretty short, it doesn't really matter. But in the whole album listen through, it's so good. It is so good, and there's so much that Denzel goes through that he talks about when it comes to just like if I'm not mistaken, it kind of talks about like having relapses and all that kind of stuff, and just like some of the struggles with some of that stuff. There's a lot that goes on in this album that Denzel talks about, and honestly, it's a thing where you can listen to it and really get a feel of like the kind of person that he is, and then you can listen to it and appreciate the bars that he drops on this stuff, man, because there's a lot of cool, nasty, pretty cool bars that he'll drop in in these songs, man. And my one of my personal favorites is from the John Wayne song, because it's just the beginning of the chorus, and he just says that he's walking around the hood like he's John Wayne. And it's great, man. It's great because that whole song's kind of dedicated to him talking like he's trying to be a cowboy in the hood. And I don't know, I appreciate that kind of stuff. My dad showed me a lot of John Wayne movies back in the day, and I grew up trying just kind of sitting there with them watching a lot of those old school cowboy movies that John Wayne would drop, and or that John Wayne would star in, and man, that stuff was good. it's always good to think about, look back on. So to hear a song like that recently really put a lot of nostalgia in my mind, even if it was kind of a little bit of a different sense. um to talk about the songs that are like my favorites from it, I would definitely say that the first two, Mount Session number one, Walk In, are like really good to start off with. Worst Comes to Worst is not even that bad of a third song to follow up on. There's honestly, yeah, man, these three songs, these first three songs are some of the three that I would recommend right away. Then you have a song like Mental, Troubles. If there's something that to kind of talk about the album a little bit, it's in a sense rapping on top of a more slower, chiller beat, and not necessarily full lo-fi, but definitely has a lot of like just more chill type of beats, and then Denzel Curry just kind of going crazy on him. Uh, um, Definitely, if you listen to the song "Walkin'," I think that's probably the most popular one, the most like exciting one, I guess, because it has like a really nice beat behind it. There's like a tiny bridge that will connect this first beat to the second, more modern type of beat, and it's a very good listen to, and I think that one's probably the one that if I had only one song to recommend, I think I would recommend this Walking one. But I also really like Worst Comes to Worst. I really like Mental, Trouble. X-Wing uses a fun sample of the Star Wars, obviously, because it's or from Star Wars, because obviously X-Wing being um the fighter jets or whatever that they use through space in Star Wars, in the first trilogies with the Luke in them. Uh, there's They have like a nice little sample that they use from it, which is pretty good. The Smell of Death starts with the sample from an anime called Fist of the North Star, which was pretty cool to hear about. And then honestly, one of my more favorite ones is the Ills. It's another slower song that's, man, it goes crazy, man. He has a lot of little things on it. If there's one thing throughout this whole album that I like, is there's like little snippets where they'll be playing the vibes, and it kind of gets like a more jazz kind of feel, and you're getting a little bit of bebop in that feeling. He even has like a nice lyric that references the fact that this ain't rap, that it's more bebop, and it's very cool, very interesting to think about, because I literally just took a class over jazz, the history of jazz, this last semester at my college, and so to hear him talk a little bit of jazz in his songs, and then to hear what he's doing with it, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. And I'm a percussionist. It was the thing that I did in high school, so I played the vibes. I played or keyboards, I guess, in that sense. If you don't know exactly what vibes are, keyboards or marimbas, xylophones, stuff like that. And It was very interesting, very cool to hear that kind of stuff, because I loved playing that stuff back in the day, and to hear it get put onto like actual tracks is really nice. Um, and so I know the Ills kind of does it a little bit in that one, and it's pretty good. But even with saying that there's it's a lot of slower songs, and not even slower songs, but just like chiller beats. There's a lot of songs like this one that I was just playing a while ago, called "Ain't No Way," and even if I'm not mistaken, like the Smell of Death, that I can't say this name right, but I want to say, I don't know how to say this the title of this name, but I want to say that it's is the Toichi. Uh, all three of those are very like more upbeat songs. Troubles is an upbeat song that isn't necessarily using like a chill beat, and he has a good mix of songs that make you feel a little bit more nice and chill while like he's like spitting bars, and then the songs that are more upbeat, that are that you can kind of get a little hype to. So it's definitely a fun album that Denzel Curry's dropped, and I appreciate this kind of stuff, because it's a lot more different than what you'd usually kind of get from his other things, not his other things, but from other artists. So it's always nice to get a different feel from that kind of stuff. But I was that was pretty much all I really had for this week on the music talk. I want to start to bring up like recommendations on like other artists, in the sense, other artists or genres, and so uh, I want to have like a fun music review, like an album review that's new, and then also have like an artist that I want to bring up here. Chris brought up the pronunciation Zatoichi, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm not going to try that again, just in case I also butchered that pronunciation. So, um, the music stuff is always cool to talk about. I guess before I do wrap it up, I want to kind of show off these dames that I have sitting back here. I have like a solid little collection of shoes that I've like kind of brought up a little bit. Currently, the pair that I wear to play basketball in are, if I'm not mistaken, they're Don 3s, Donovan Mitchell's signature shoe, but they're Venom style. And my brother Chris actually has like the Gwen Stacy Spider Gwen style shoes, just like it. But these are some dames that I was able to kind of snag not too long ago, or about a year ago actually. I think I got these. I want to say I got these on sale. Oh my goodness! If I'm not mistaken, we're kind of getting close to 2 years, because if I think I bought these in 2020 when Dame dropped 60 in the bubble, and they like price dropped all of his shoes. So I was able to kind of get these cool looking purple rose fonted shoes. The lip says inked up. I don't know if it'll. There you go, inked up right there. So those shoes, I haven't really worn these too much. I don't like to wear them to play basketball in, because I have shoes that I play basketball in. And then I didn't take these over to Tech because there's a lot of dirt and dust there. So I don't know. I don't want to wear them out. But I just had them sitting out here. Like I said, with this move, I had to throw a lot of stuff up, and I was able to kind of find those little dames to just put them in. I actually have, there you go, right there, the Don box right here, with like the Spider-Man logo, or his like Spider Don logo, I guess, because it's like basketball with the Spider-Man. Don, determination over negativity, as this is what this little thing says. So I guess that's Donovan Mitchell's little brand of stuff that he's got going on. But I just wanted to show you guys those little shoes right there, just because I had them right up there. But with that being said, I was able to kind of get on here, talk some playoff basketball, talk some music, talk some little shoes right there. Like I said before, man, this series, this weekly podcast isn't necessarily supposed to be the most professional, the most constructed piece of work. I just want to get on here and talk and do my thing. Continue to work on being able to bring a solid little show every week, and experiment and start bringing things. Right now, I changed the music. Or this week I changed the music up from that lo-fi. This one was called Night Driving, but hopefully next week I'll be able to bring my actual music that I want to show you guys, and it'll be cool. It'll be interesting to have. But with that being said, guys, I hope everybody has a wonderful and a blessed Mother's Day. Make sure that you show all the love that you can to your mothers, because man, they do a lot for you, and they do. My mom does a lot for me too. And it's that kind of stuff. I will say, not, I guess, to put it out there, not everybody does have a relationship like that I have with my mom. And so it's a thing for me where I'm not a person that likes to pity others, but I like to count my own blessings. So because I know that not everybody gets to have that type of relationship with their parents, I try to stay as blessed and as happy, or as giveful to my parents, because I know that like not everybody gets to have that kind of stuff. Not everybody gets to have the blessed and spoiled life that I get to have. So I try to keep my blessings intact. But with that being said, guys, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the evening. I hope y'all continue to enjoy some playoff basketball. Maybe the Denzel Curry album is something that you haven't listened to yet. It's only been out for about a month, and if you feel like the stuff that I talked about was a little interesting, I know I didn't necessarily talk about the album too much and like what it really brings. But if some of the stuff that I said kind of caught your ears or whatever, and you kind of want to give it a listen to, then go check it out, and then let me know what you think about it. It's always good to hear and see what people have to say about the opinions and stuff like that I have. So, but with that being said, I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and we are out. Peace.